What is up, everyone, and welcome to the first ever audio-only podcast that I will be doing while driving because my commute's very long. I have the best conversations when I'm driving into work with myself in my head, and then when I try to say them aloud, which you'll probably see shortly when I put them in a recorded format, it's going to be gibberish and nobody's going to understand it. But hey, we're going to be talking about fireworks, and we all love fireworks, right? That's why we're here. The whole 5 people that are probably listening to this. So we did get some new prices this week. Today is May 31st, 2025, the last day before June, and it was probably a scorcher for most people in northern, I don't know, probably all of California, at least in northern California. As the time I'm leaving for work, it's 101 right now. It's a bit warm. Anyways, so let's talk about the firework news in case you missed it, and we're going to go be a little bit more in detail, and if you clicked this little secret podcast, I will be divulging a lot more top secret information than most shall know, okay? Because obviously, if you found this somewhere on my YouTube channel, I don't even know if it might be in like the actual podcast app. So if you found this, you've deserved it. You've earned it. All right, so right off the bat, we will talk about the elephant in the room, and that is the TNT prices for 2025. Well, they're bad. Not terrible, could be worse. But what I wanted to tell you guys, and I didn't because I was uncertain, because I don't like telling people wrong information because it makes me feel, I don't think it makes me feel stupid. It makes me feel like I'm letting you down. Like I don't want to like speculate things. Like when I release a speculation video, most of it is labeled speculation because a lot of the time it doesn't come true. And I think the only one I got really close to getting correct was the Phantom one. We got the happiness fountain. I posted that on the community because I heard good rumors and rumblings that one was coming, and other people were like, no, Beast, that's been at Phantom for years and they haven't brought it here. But then lo and behold, look what we got. We got the happiness fountain, which is not that exciting when it comes to Phantom new products. And I know I said I was going to talk about TNT stuff, but that's just the art of the podcast, right? I ramble. I did want to, we'll get back on TNT. I did want to basically allow you guys to realize that I anticipated the prices to be about similar to COVID prices, like 2021 level. And when you look at one of my videos, I think it's the Make Fireworks Great Again video. Sorry, I'm sniffling. I don't know why. I snored last night. The prices were cheaper in 2021, man. And I was, anticipating that as kind of a guideline. And it's fairly disappointing. And one of the other things that I found out through the Discord by El Jefe, as I never really paid attention to it. DFS/Freedom had, I forget what it was called. I have the, where did I post that? I posted it somewhere, or maybe I have a video in the works of it. I think maybe it's in the DFS actual video. It's called like the American Party or something assortment. Basically, what I'm getting at is the new Golden Glow assortment that we see from TNT that's $560 was actually available at some select stands as early as 2023. And this is an assortment that was sold at Costco for about $160 in 2024. Now, I can understand. So let's break this down. I'm not a mathematician, so I'm going to be rounding. All right, we're going to say it was $160 at Costco last year. We're going to add a little bit to account for those quote unquote nasty tariffs that I feel like people, not all businesses, I'm not saying TNT's doing this or anybody else, but there are businesses, not Sane Firework related, but that are taking advantage of charging more the same way they did price gouging when COVID was a thing. And I'm not trying to get political, but we'll leave that aside. So if we do account for, it used to be $160 at Costco for this Golden Glow assortment that was called America's Party or something. I don't know. It's irrelevant at this point because we're going to just call it the Golden Glow assortment. It was 160. We account for tariffs. We'll round it to 200. I don't really like that, but we'll still do it. We'll round it to 200. So times 2. So, TNT gets, because obviously Costco has to make a little bit of money if they're selling this. So if it was 160 before, I assume there's a profit margin somewhere in there. But we're just going to go assume that we're removing the profit margin from Costco and just it's all going to TNT for $200. So TNT makes $200. The nonprofit makes $200 if you double the price, which makes it $400. It would be a decent assortment for $400. Still a little bit overpriced. I believe a fair price would probably be $380, $350. Even then, it's a bit much, but hey, it is what it is. Basically, a very good. Another thing. Spoiler alert. Welcome to my ramble. I'm trying to program this thing, and I've tried to, I've screwed up and hired a programmer that sucked. I don't know how to program. He got me like the base level of it, and then I imported it into an AI that kind of fixed it, but the AI costs more than the programmer, so I don't really want to spend that. So I'm trying to work on it on my own and fix it through my own means with like Chat GPT and things because I don't know coding. Basically, I'm trying to make a budget simulator, like a buyer's guide simulator, so anybody can plug in a very specific amount of money, say like $280 or $358, and it'll basically take all the fireworks that are available this year with my ratings, and basically sort them from novelties to fireworks to finales and some assortments, and just kind of put them in a algorithm to spit out depending on each budget, which is technically going to put me out of a YouTube business, I guess, but it's not about a business. It's about helping people realize how to buy the best bang for your buck. So what I was getting at is the main thing that you should think about when buying assortment is you get the total number of items in the assortment. So we'll say there's, I don't know, 30. I'm not a mathematician, so somebody, I don't know if I can still record and use a calculator because this is where math gets weird. I think I can. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. So we're going to say an assortment is, I don't know, is we'll use the Golden Glows example. It's $560, right? You take $560, and this isn't the actual amount of fountains in there, but we'll say there's 44 items. So you just do 560 divided by 44, and you're paying $12.72 per fountain. So now you look at that assortment, you think, okay, can I buy X amount of items that are the same quality for $12.70? If the answer is no, it's a good assortment. If the answer is yes, it's bad. Which the funniest part about trying to program the algorithm and recognizing assortments in the budget guide, it never would recommend them, no matter what budget. Even if I set the budget, like very rarely. So basically, even if I set the budget to like $2,000 or $1,500, it would still never recommend an assortment. And just so you know, if you're wondering what that weird noise is, it's the road noise. Like I said, this is the driving podcast. So sorry if this is annoying, but it is what it is. So, like I was saying, the funniest part is even I couldn't get an algorithm / program to consider the equation I gave you. So I feel like I had to figure like a way, like this is just stuff I had to work through because like, yeah, I could give an assortment a flat rating. Like I could say the Big Bang is a 4.5 or a 3.5 out of 10, right? But it's $560. So due to the algorithm, it shows that this firework it's thinking as one item is $500 or $800, and it's only a rated 4.5. It's never going to recommend that just due to the rating system. So then I had to develop the new system, which is something I kind of used in the past, which was just calculating how many items you get and dividing it by the price, and then blue, 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 and then is that worth it? Can you purchase more items that are counter quality on the stand as opposed to buying an assortment? And you used to be able to do that with assortments like the Ostruck and other things when you would get more bang for your buck. Obviously, it was quantity over quality sometimes. That's always how it is with assortments. And I'm just trying to figure out a better way to do it, which I don't think there is pretty much taking the total amount of the assortment, dividing it by the amount of items, and that's how much every single item is going to cost no matter what, essentially. Obviously, it's a very crude estimate in there because some items are going to be worth more and some are going to be worth less, but it's the best dollar for dollar way to kind of analyze that. So we got off on a tangent when we were playing the algorithm and the new assortment, blah, blah, blah. And we were talking about how the algorithm wouldn't recommend an assortment. But the main thing is we were talking about rounding the Golden Glow up to $200 and then timesing it by 2 for it to be on sale in stands here, which is still a lot of money. And I do not believe that is the accurate split that is conducted for stand owners at T&T and Phantom, whatever. So if it's $400, which is not, it's still times essentially 3 or more of that amount. What's going on there? It's very concerning to me that the math and analyzing the increase doesn't really account for tariffs, doesn't account for the nonprofit side of it. It doesn't account for a lot of things. So concerning, it's very concerning to me. Some items are very good priced, like the amazing Master of Sparks. Obviously, some people don't really understand that, of course, there's going to have to be some modifications made to fit in the safe and sane area, but they did, like the video, I would say, Electro and Master of Sparks, the videos don't really do it justice. It's just one of those you have to see in person type things. It's always, as everybody knows, fireworks are better in person. So there's that aspect. Those prices are decent. Electro could be cheaper, but beggars can't be choosers, right? It's a step in the right direction. The most alarming thing that I talked about when it came to to make a fireworks great again was sparklers are now $20, and when stands open, we're gonna if I can get this upload today's May 31st, the last day before the 20% off coupon on Redbeard's Fireworks expires. You could buy 144 sparklers, Morning Glories, for like $15-16, probably even less if you use the coupon code. And that's just ridiculous, because Morning Glories are like the staple of every 4th of July, right? Most families, most people purchasing safe and sane, that's a staple item. And if you want to beat out your competitors, I'm not telling you to take advice from Costco or something, but I'm not a business major, but I definitely do know sometimes the loss leader, where you take a small loss on a product just to get people to your stand, you're going to be doing better business. And that's just the reality of it, right? If you were to keep sparklers BOGO for $10-12 even, just the $10 to $12 mark is more acceptable, even though the quality of those sparklers are, once you see them, they're not high quality at all. They're not worth that $20 at all. And that's very disappointing to me, because I've always loved sparklers since that was the main firework when I was beginning to be a pyro when I was 5, 6, 7. That was like my main thing. I love sparklers. I love putting them together and making my own firework, pushing broken sparklers down into burnt firework tubes to make my own little firework that shot sparklers out of the top. Like, that was my jam. And now I'm thinking, if I was growing up now, being that age, asking what's it called? Asking, my parents to buy me, 6 boxes of Morning Glories, it just wouldn't, it wouldn't be good. They would probably be like, that's ridiculous, because 6 boxes, so we'll just say that 6 is including the BOGOs, right? That's a lot of money. That's more than most assortments, and it's not possible anymore. And that's disappointing, because most people are like gonna buy only 1 box nowadays as opposed to multiple. And sparklers, to me, like I said, are important. Everybody could probably agree with me that when most seasonal pyros, as well as most other pyros that are here, that are watching these videos, sparklers, everybody wants to give their kids sparklers. They want to give the people hanging out that maybe not care too much about fireworks sparklers, because it's just one of those things that is like the 4th of July tradition. And to see that kind of go up in price, and I guarantee you sparklers are one of the best sellers, and I know there is some compensation to be made for other items not as high, but I don't know. We'll see how their profit margins are this year. But I'm not a business major. I'm not involved in anything. I know people say I work for TNT, blah, blah. I only have like an agreement with TNT, not written or anything. It's just, hey, you have some influence when it comes to safe and sane stuff. You have good opinions. We would love for you to come out, show off our stuff. We're not going to pay you anything. The only pay you really get is just by making the videos, and whatever chump change you make from that, you get to keep. And I have an agreement, like, hey, if they don't want me to release prices due to Phantom and other stands, we'll just keep it at that. And I don't release them until they give me the thumbs up. But obviously we had the thing where Fireworks Supercenter posted all their prices on the website, which it is what it is. I don't know if he got the okay to do that or what, but at the end of the day, I love that Matt did that, because it kind of showed us like, hey, this is where we're at. Because I only asked for the prices on the new stuff, because that, in my opinion, if the new item, I can get kind of a gauge on how prices are going to be on the new items. And from my understanding, everything was good, and they may have not known some price increases on some things, and it is what it is. And they have no control. The people I talk to do not have control over the prices. They just can offer ideas and things, and I don't blame them at all. I don't really blame TNT at all. I blame California, and unfortunately, where we're at, with the big fire in LA, or very early in this year, we really can't focus on any new firework related progress laws when it comes to leniency or any type of, and that's the other thing. Like, I don't know what kind of shenanigans happens behind the scenes, right? Obviously, it's easy to say, okay, this assortment's $160 at Costco. Why is it not cheaper? Blah, blah, blah. But, there's so much red tape, permits, all this stuff to probably do and actually sell fireworks in California. So I'm assuming there's a lot of things that are also equated into the price. Like, you have insurance, you have security and storage fees, you have the fee that you have to pay to be on certain locations. Like, if you're in a parking lot, some property managers charge stand owners that, and it's an ever evolving. It's a lot of red tape, and it's not just like a one size fits all equation times 3% markup type thing. I don't think there's any real way around that, and I'm completely ignorant of that, and I understand that, and I would love to be corrected, but nobody has explained it like I'm 5 years old to me. And until then, I'm going to keep preaching this till hopefully somebody corrects me. And I speak for most of everybody else in California when it comes to the prices. And as if this is, I highly doubt this is your first time listening to my Muppet voice. If you found this podcast somehow, you're definitely in the trenches of fireworks, so you care. like I've preached several times, like I worry about these price increases, the quality, everything, because I know most seasonal, normal people that only celebrate the 4th and buy fireworks on the 3rd or 4th and wait till the last minute, those people are going to be the ones buying assortments and sparklers. And right now, if people go to the stand and buy just an assortment and sparklers, this is going to be probably one of the worst 4th of Julys they've ever had. And that's just the reality of the situation. And that's terrible and frightening for me because, as I explained, is if people get burned by a business and feel like they were overcharged, you tend to go elsewhere. Whether that's, most people I feel like are going to go to an actual fireworks show, like the most legal. So if they're already doing the right thing and going to an actual legal authorized stand, purchasing it from a nonprofit, these people are normal people that, don't want to break the law and go to Nevada or Arizona or Oregon to get other fireworks, right? They're not going to go and find some random dude on the street selling crappy fountain or crappy, aerial fireworks out of their trunk. They're not going to do that. They've wasted, hundreds of dollars on an assortment of sparklers when they could have spent that on travel and hotels and going to a fireworks show. And if they do that, that's less money in the nonprofits. Less money in the nonprofits means less stands. Less stands mean less sales. Less sales means less fireworks. And less fireworks means they're just going to ban them all together because now you have no reason to fight anymore. No reason to try to keep fireworks in California. And once we have that, we have other counties that have essentially what I call martial law on fireworks, where you can't even have freaking sparklers, which is insane to me. The safe and sane fireworks aren't the one causing the fire. I just don't agree with that at all. The biggest thing that a safe and sane firework can do is, if lit too close to dead, dry grass, it's going to light the grass on fire, and if left unattended, that can obviously spread. But the main issue that I've seen with all fireworks in general, the biggest issue is that cause the fires are mainly 2 items. One is rockets, all types, even the little poo butt ones, right? And pretty much 200 milligram cakes. Those are or 200 grams, not milligrams. I'm thinking about like supplements and stuff right now. 200 gram cakes. They're smaller and they have a lot less stabilization, and those frequently tip over. And then when you have fireworks tip over and are now traveling in unknown directions and on top of roofs and top of trees, that's when you have issues. Candles. Roman candles are kind of like just color pearls, really not that dangerous, in my opinion. Usually the color pearl ones you get like an assortment. Saturn missiles, those are glorified bottle rocket whistlers. Those really don't do anything. That's not to say that a 500 gram cake can't tip over as well. Certain effects in canister shells and shell kits, glitter, a lot of the longer lasting effects like the willows, the strobes, things that linger in the air for a while. The original packaging, that the paper that the shell is wrapped in, can ignite, fall into a tree. Those are the main ones that cause fires. A fountain, you can, if it's green, I have videos of fireworks being lit under actual trees that are alive and green, and there's no fire, no nothing. Green grass is fine. I'm not saying to go do your own Mythbusters on this. I went off on a tangent on fountains aren't the problem. It's the same thing. It's like irresponsible drivers when they're, if they drive drunk or high. It's just people making stupid choices that ruin it for everyone. And you get, the government coming in and saying everybody's too stupid to be able to do this responsibly. And obviously, when you add a holiday that usually involves drinking, then decision making goes down. So, frustrating to me. I don't want that happening. I don't want to feel like I can't enjoy a freaking fountain on the 4th of July because of reasons. So people are going to ask, so how do we fix this? How do we fix this? I mean, the main issue, I don't think we're going to see change until we really see a California wide effort to really help and figure out better ways to reduce fires. What is the solution to that? I have no idea. Right? You can only get so many firefighters. So many people want to be firefighters, and unfortunately, in this, especially California, most firefighters are doing paramedic stuff, where they're responding to calls for people that are sick, dying, injured, or just, and the most common one, unfortunately, depending on where you live, is mentally ill or drug problems. I'll just put it plainly, crazy people. They're not fighting fires. They're basically a mobile hospital. Same thing with EMTs, and it sucks. Most firefighters want to go out and put out fires, and it's not the main call they get. It's fun when they get it, but it's very rare. They just deal with, being, just helping people, which is fine, but there's not much fires to be fought all the time. And then when they do happen, that's when they actually get to have fun, but who knows, nobody wants to be a firefighter when you just do that. Obviously, there's different areas where they primarily focus on, fire prevention and things. I know in California they do have, the prisons do have like a fire camp type thing where you have a lot of inmates that are on good behavior that go out, create fire breaks, clear brush, and I feel like that is one of the best rehabilitation programs in probably all of the world. People might think I'm crazy because of whatever reason, but I do believe certain people do change, and not everybody that is incarcerated and has done bad things, whether it's murder or whatever, people can change and they can bring good to the world. And I feel like for their mental health and well-being and everything else, I think expanding the fire camp would be very beneficial. And just getting more, maybe obviously county jails you can't do because those people aren't sentenced to a crime yet. They're in county jails are usually filled with people that are waiting trial in court, etc. These people are innocent until proven guilty. But if you speak to the people in those jails, they'll say the reverse, which is guilty until proven innocent kind of thing, because they're locked up. Obviously, you have those people that are serving time for misdemeanor arrests, so they don't go to prison. But for the more serious stuff, they'll go to prison, and I feel like it should be a goal to get a lot more people on the fire camp side. Obviously, you're going to need more staff for that, a lot more training, and you got to have, I'll use the politically correct term here, incarcerated persons to be on good behavior to actually achieve that, and nobody screw it up and basically escape into the woods or something. So that's obviously the side effect and concern of doing these types of programs, that you have runaways or AWOLs and stuff like that. So until we get the fires situation fixed, I don't feel like we're going to see any progressive good changes to the California legislation. If anything, it will become more restrictive. As long as we can stay where it is, I'll be happy, but I really worry about everything moving forward, and that's been a concern for the past 5 years, ever since pretty much 2019 was when everything was fine and honky dory in the firework world. COVID happened, got a little weird with supply chain and being told we couldn't celebrate things, and it was a good time for my firework channel then, because I saw the most influx of views and subscribers and everything during 2020 and 2021 when these people, the normal seasonal firework people, had to stay home and not go out to a fireworks show. And I really feel like, TNT and Phantom and all the firework retailers really, really dropped the ball, because they just got a huge new market of customers that they've never seen before, or they used to have and went away. And they dropped the ball. The prices were high. The quality wasn't good. And it further solidified that they don't like fountains. They don't like safe and sane stuff. It's not worth the price. So obviously it's a business, and businesses have to make a bottom line. And I get that. I understand that completely. But if you talk to the, firework community as a whole in all of the, 50 states, most people will say Phantom and TNT are notoriously the quote unquote most overpriced firework retailers. And I'm not sure why that is. I'll never understand it. They've been around a while. It is what it is. They really, I'm not by any means a businessman, but I'm analytical, I guess, at best. So it is what it is. I'm just talking into the universe to hopefully get some people on the same wavelength. The whole 2-3 people that end up watching this podcast, if they ever find it, especially all the way through, because that'll be interesting. I mean, the main thing is I think if you're listening to this, I think we'll be okay to kind of now turn the corner, turn the page, turn to more positive aspect. I think we'll be okay. There's a lot of good new items that are decently priced, especially if we go to all 3 stands. And if we actually have access, if you have access to, hopefully, I have yet to get in contact. I'm going to have to shoot them a text or something for Fireworks Unlimited and everywhere else to really see what we got going on there. See if the stand's still coming and what we can anticipate this year. But if that, if it happens, it happens. Not everybody has access to even a DFS/Freedom, and they're stuck with maybe just TNT or Phantom, and I understand that. But that's why I wanted to help kind of build this, or try to build this website in the end goal of having a budget simulator, so people that hopefully just do a Google search can find it and use it when they go to a stand and immediately get a list, and they don't have to do the work. I think the biggest issue for some people, especially the seasonal pyros, they just want to be told what to buy and have a list. And I think that would help if we can show at least firework retailers like Phantom and TNT that, hey, why are all of our single counter items selling way more now? What's going on with that? And assortments are just not being sold. We have a giant backstock of assortments. They're not being sold. Something's going on. It's frustrating. And I'm hoping maybe that will work, which I doubt. I know everybody says, speak with your wallet. Everybody thinks protesting and not buying things helps. But unfortunately, if you're listening to this, we're the minority. And we're the loudest. But I don't think, I can be wishful, right? We could keep our head up and hope that changes everything. But how much time? We're about 30 minutes. I'll go for a little longer, but we'll start closing it up. I know most people's attention spans are very short, including mine. I think it'll be okay. Next year's going to be a big deciding factor of where we're headed in the firework world. Somebody's honking. I don't know what's going on. I lost my thought because somebody was honking. Anyways, I think we'll be all right. It'll be a good indicator of how everything is next year. It should be noted that obviously the big scary thing is tariffs, and that's what they're saying. But in the original Trump presidency, his first term, the Firework Association did carve out an exemption for them for fireworks, and especially now it makes more sense with him wanting to be manufacturing back here to the United States to make a firework manufacturing plant here. It would take almost 10 years to get the infrastructure, the permits, everything. And then not only that, all the chemicals to produce fireworks are going to be coming from China anyways. So the best course of action is just to exempt pretty much fireworks from it, because it's such a seasonal thing that I feel like Trump will, I'm not trying to be political, but I am an American, and no matter who's president, I support them and hope that they do the best things for the country. I thought the same when Obama and Biden were president. I want America to be, great and make good decisions. And I'm hopeful that hopefully that'll change, and we'll be less divisive and less angry at everybody. We're all very divided over a stupid opinion that we all have. Everybody says, don't talk about religion or politics because everybody's very opinionated. And when somebody is so set into an opinion, you're never going to change them, unfortunately. I mean, it's not, I wouldn't say never, but it's not worth getting, losing your breath on the internet for, especially now politics are very divisive. So I don't really like to talk about politics, but unfortunately it's kind of one of those things that is in the conversation when it comes to fireworks because of the main tariff issue. No matter what side of it you sit on, it's a thing. So I don't know. I have no idea how to fix where we're at, to fix anything really. In the ideal world, I guess, in closing, if I were able to call all the shots, I would first lift the ban on all safe and sane, I would lift the ban on all counties that ban all fireworks, because that's just silly. That would help. So once you allow the sales of more safe and sane fireworks statewide, that allows for more profit, that allows for everything else, basically. Obviously, you're going to have more of a supply chain issue and supply and demand. You might see, if the tariffs aren't adjusted, obviously we would have to go to removing tariffs on fireworks for that. And then we would need to then increase our storage of all fireworks and create some type of warehouse where we can import them on a regular basis, so we don't have a supply chain issue. And the reason I'm doing this is because I also want to lift the ban on only allowing the sale and purchase and ignition from, because right now the law states from June 28th to July 6th. I would change that to, you could do it now free. I guess the first thing I would get changed would be to expand it. I would say that you should be able to start sales from June 20th at least to July 6th. And then obviously do the same thing. You start sales in December from December 15th to New Year's, or maybe December 20th to New Year's, and have Christmas and New Year's themed fireworks. That will also increase sales and bottom line. And not only that, have pop-up stands that are smaller for in select states, not states, select counties and cities that always do well for some smaller holidays like Halloween. Obviously, the juvenile delinquency issue is a problem. So just like small, maybe one-tier stands that sell some small novelty type items, pumpkin and zombie things, glow sticks, other Halloween related things that just help the overall bottom line of just to keep that 365, because if it's anything like my YouTube channel, especially in California, sales of fireworks are pretty much dead for 85% of the year. So this just allows more sales. Obviously, the best solution would be to allow December sales for New Year's and Christmas, because that's halfway through the year. So this allows more companies that are smaller, not just TNT and Phantom, to kind of put their foot in the door, because it's not profitable to do that just to sell fountains, because of what I just mentioned is it's only profitable for a short amount of time, and the amount of red tape, permits, and everything you have to get, it's going to take some time to have a return on investment. So if you can allow more sales throughout the year and allow people to celebrate, especially New Year's, in a safe manner and not shooting guns in the air, shooting illegal fireworks, etc., that will help. Obviously, those types of people that are doing that are probably not going to be the ones buying safe and sane stuff, but you never know. Maybe they will at least buy some things. And I think that'll help, because if you think about it, June is the 6th month in the year, and December is the 12th month, so it's directly the halfway point. And I think that would give a really good bump for sales and just overall bottom line and return on investments for other firework retailers that want to put their foot in the door and sell their safe and sane products in California. That would be the first things I did, and then slowly roll out more holidays, etc. Then after that, I would work on figuring out if we can loosen some restrictions on fountains, remove the spread rule or raise it by a couple feet, basically change the amount of height, so we can get fountains like the world highest fountain. We can get fountains that shoot rather high in the air, and then if you get that, you can now also incorporate color pearls that are pretty tame at most, but adds a nice kind of effect. And then after that, if you can get a mine, which mines are pretty much just glorified crackle that goes a little higher, I think if we can get that tweaked, as long as fountains can be made and viewed as something that's not childlike, I think will be great. I don't think we'll ever get away from that stigma, because of all the other states that can do, their own basically backyard displays with, multiple consumer grade, shell kits and 500 gram cakes and etc. Most of those people, including me, I prefer that, but my childhood was fountains. I love fountains. It is what it is. I love all fireworks. It doesn't matter. It's the equivalent of, people liking certain types of cars. Oh, that's a V6 Mustang. That's, I drive a V8. It's better because it's, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, it just depends what people like. It doesn't matter what it is. And it's ironic that the day that we celebrate our freedom of independence and freedom were restricted on what we could do in California, and especially in those counties that don't even allow any firework fountains or safe and sane items to be sold. It's just ironic to me. But I think with that, I could probably go on and on about if I was in charge pulling the strings, what I would do, how I would do that. Obviously, I think another question I think people ask me, would I legalize illegal fireworks? Probably not. I would probably not legalize them, mainly because of the reasons I stated prior. It would have to be a slow rollout, slow rate, kind of test the waters on how responsible are people with certain things. I think banning like rockets and maybe you could get the sale of certain mortar kits or something, but then you're gonna have people blowing up their hands and stuff. So it's hard when you incorporate laws because people are stupid with things, and then you add the fire issue and everything else. So I don't think I would, just because I don't view it's completely would be a responsible thing to do. At first, I think loosening the regulations first, and then incorporating new effects and making fountains like their own new thing. Because if fountains are having to be very competitive and have to design new effects and types of things, there's going to be some certain standout fountains that, I'm not going to say rival a 500-gram cake, but if you're able to have a fountain that has mines or color pearls or a little bit lax restrictions, I think you can incorporate a good amount of fountains that are at that quality and amount of effects into any show, whether it's a giant, multiple, shells and cakes. Just kind of gives it that opener or ending, and I think it's possible. Competition breeds innovation, and we need something, because right now I firmly believe that fireworks, especially fountains, mainly fountains, are so pretty much what's the word I'm looking for? Homogeneous, I guess. The same. Lack special effects, lack a lot of things, is because of the main sale is done in California, and it's a very strict, regulation on how wide and how far. And I think at that point, it's 47 minutes of me rambling. I'm going to go ahead and sign off here. And thanks for listening. If there is a way to leave comments, let me know if you listen to the whole thing. We'll maybe do some more of these. All right, guys. I will talk at you guys later.